right.
Okay.
Welcome, Erik. Welcome to this video, I should say, this interview. Thanks
Mhm.
for taking the time with me today to talk about your experiences in the field, in your work field, which is, you can explain yourself in a second,
Mhm.
and yeah, being a practitioner as of last week of Host2Transform.
Yes.
First of all, where are you calling in from at the moment?
I'm calling in from Best. That's where I live with my wife Annemieke and two kids. So that's where I'm calling from right now.
Cool. And maybe already in an intriguing question, but why do
Mm.
you do what you do?
Why do I do what I do? I do what I do because of a little bit of coincidence, but later I fell in love with spatial planning. I studied a completely different work field, but there was no work in that work field, so I had to adapt. And so I came upon this chance. I got a chance to work in the gemeente Helmond as a spatial planner, and from then on, and that's 20 years ago now, my passion is spatial development. And what I do right now is implementing a new law. Is what's coming up in 2018. The law is changing from in my field of work, and all regulations are changing. And there's a lot of that needs a lot of cultural a change in behavior of people. And I think it's a really good chance to do it completely different and to make better products and better products, as in innovative projects which are now banned or not, who doesn't get a permit. Maybe in the future with a new law will be realized, and that will make the Netherlands more beautiful country, I think. I
Wow, that's quite a mission to make the Netherlands more beautiful.
yeah, it's true.
Nice, I love it. I love that kind of a mission, as you missions, as you might know. Um, so, spatial planning for the
Hmm.
municipality.
Hmm.
What is it exactly for people that do not have a clue what it is?
Well, I work for local governments mainly, and I advise them how to plan their environment, or where the buildings are to come, where the nature is to be realized. We call that a bestemmingsplan,
Mm-hmm.
and that is a big pile of rules, and it is very enclosing. And the idea of the new omgevingswet, the new law I talked about, is that it's far more spacious, and it gives you more room to to innovate. But, and that's what I meant by behavior. You got
Mm-hmm.
to leap into the room. You got to leap into the space to make full use of the new law. And I see, and I spoke to a lot of people, a bit of how you call it in English, a bit of anxiety
Mm-hmm.
to really use the space that's given the government to, well, to innovate.
Nice.
The-
Yeah, that's a discourse I have seen nowadays that the private space should
Mhm.
become more of a public space again,
Yes,
if I'm
yes,
correct.
yes. It's true. It's true. We but and there's a, yeah, the behavior thing is forgotten. No, I wouldn't say forgotten, but it's coming second. It's coming in second place right now, because all the attention is going to the law, and or how does it look, what does it look like, and what are the possibilities. But it doesn't matter what the possibilities are if you're not making use of the possibilities. Well, there has to be no new rule of no new law. you've got to make use of the possibilities that the law provides you.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm
So
passionate about.
if you had to make it very bold, you talk about cultural change. That's of course how the things used to work out, the traditional, conventional ways of working, and having a certain mindset in place
Mhm,
versus maybe more controversial new ways of thinking and acting.
mhm,
What is let's say the E to Z scenario? So what is the current or the previous mindset and behavior,
mhm.
and what is the transformation you would love to see, and what is then the
Um,
end? Well, if there's an
okay.
end goal, there's no
Yeah,
such thing. I think it's always in
it's
development.
always evolving,
Yeah.
but the way it's no, I will say it in another way. The most successful products, the most successful projects
Mm-hmm.
are those where through circumstances the rules are no longer in place,
Mm-hmm.
and people have to improvise, and that's the way I think it should go every time.
Mm-hmm.
Do you really want something? Well, okay, then make it work. And the way it's going right now is there is a plan, there is an initiative, and there are a set of rules, and it's like a list with vinkjes, and they just check the list, and if it's not right, if there's a cross behind one of the things, the initiative is not going to be realized, and I think it's a bad thing because if you think about if you think about what you really want, and well, if you think that's a good idea, then make it happen.
Mm-hmm.
And well, that's the current thing is you're not making it happen because there's a lot of rules and there's a lot of risk avoiding behavior.
Uh-huh.
And what I would like to see is, well, you got the space, use it, but use it in a good way. Not everything is okay, but well, if you have a vision and a initiative fits in that vision, well, okay, then you should make it possible.
Yeah. Yeah. So, in terms of mindset, if I'm correct, I hear the shift from thinking from impossibilities, what's not possible because we
Yeah,
made a law and we
yeah,
have to use that specific playing field to work from,
yeah.
versus what is possible. Can we stretch the playing field? Can we give more room for improvisation, innovation, agility, whatever you want to call it,
Mhm.
for things to arise that maybe we cannot even think of altogether. But it's human centered, so people in the space can do it themselves. And of course, there needs to be some framework. It's not just randomly doing stuff and make the space a dangerous space, maybe.
No, no,
Yeah.
no. It's that's the essence of what I would like to be the omgevingswet.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
it's not there yet.
Yeah. So why do you think there's a risk avoiding behavior? Do you think the people that are in that position right now love to be like that, or is it unconscious, or is it they don't
It's
know otherwise, or I don't know.
they've they've been doing it for 60 years now in this particular manner. So and they, well, from day one they saw the downfall of the way of working,
Mm-hmm.
but as of today, we never changed it really. But now this new law, will change it if you want to.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the rule does of the new law doesn't prescribe you how to work, but you can choose to
Yeah.
take the room it's given you,
It's
and
kind
that's
of
the
a process tool on itself, right? The law.
yep,
It's not so
it's true.
much check boxes being ticked, but more
No,
about where to go. So that's already quite innovative. Maybe
yes,
the
yes.
new law itself.
Well, in the past, no, not right now.
Mm-hmm.
We say we have a toolkit with a lot of instruments, but those instruments, well, restrict you very much, and the new instruments will give you more space. But you have to use it, and that's
Yeah.
why cultural behavior and cultural change and behavior change is necessary.
Okay. So I think that's a beautiful bridge to the human-centered process innovation toolkit of
Hmm.
Host2Transform.
Yes.
So why were you intrigued to join this training?
Well, as I'm very passionate about my work, I talked to Annemiek about it, and we both at the same time in the kitchen we came to the conclusion. Well, it's all about behavior. It's not the law. It's all about behavior. That has to change. And
Yeah.
then Annemieke, as always, had already prescribed herself to your course, and I
Hmm.
said I want to do that too. Do you mind? And she thought for a minute. Oh, I would like that. So
Nice.
I
Subscribe to.
subscribed myself also. So that's why.
Nice. And do you think there's you have behavior, but do you see a distinction between mindset and behavior too?
Yes, yes. It's first the mindset has to change because I'm in the process of organizing a huge event too, and I do that with a law company, and all those advocates are very critical about the omgevingswet. They say, "Ah, nothing's changed, and that's all the same," and blah 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 blah. So they are very skeptical. And I said, and I taught you also, I would have loved to get the instrument you gave me earlier on, so I could hand them over. So because there's a lot of skepticism, and the left and the right brain colliding is a very good exercise for them, I think.
Nice.
So they can see that the one is what they are doing is very analyzing it, but you have to be empathetic to the law to really use it to its full extent.
Yeah. So in that sense, there's also I can see multiple transformations going on at the same time, and we call it systemic transformation from
Mm.
personal to maybe team to organization to societal.
Yeah.
Could you see those layers more or less also happening? Because it also requires something from you, right? To
Yes. Yes.
implement this again.
Well, the plan is to when I go and to that event that I will take the part of the cultural change, and I'm scared to death because I will. Well, I will. Hopefully, I will arrange the people or get them the people in a mindset that they're open to the possibilities of the law. And that would be a real big change because, no, as I said, there's a lot of skepticism about
Mm-hmm.
the law,
Yeah.
and that's the first step, I think. And after that, you have the right mindset to change the behavior. I think if I would try to change behavior right now, I would put in a dead horse. I think so. I
Yeah.
won't do that.
Yeah.
First things first, and the mindset has to change to
Yeah.
make the law a success.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And I think that's it's really beautifully said. And remember also during the training, at a certain moment of time, you were like, "Oh, the whole municipality needs to have
Mm.
this toolkit," and
Yeah.
you really triggered me. Like, hey, because I'm also in this right now. It's developing on the spot, and it's getting bigger in the sense, and becomes things fall in their place. And I really
Hmm.
feel that with this toolkit, we actually develop new competences with people. So, for
Yes.
example, you own this toolkit after the training, and you have this video program that will support you and me, of course, and other people around you, the whole community that has trained before. So you have adopted this toolkit or integrated into your own competences that you already
Hmm.
have. And if people around you will do this more and more, you get a new way of how you collaborate and
Hmm.
communicate and how you uh,
Well, It's
how you
true.
deal with vulnerability and for not knowing things, and that you can be open about it. Like,
Yeah.
I'm uncertain about this, you know?
Well, it's funny you said that. Last Wednesday, yes, Wednesday, I had a meeting with somebody to persuade them to come to my event, and I was talking about the possibilities that the law was providing. But I said, hey, if you don't want to use them, there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with that. So that's a first step. There's nothing wrong. But you can choose things, and well, you have to think about what you choose. But that's the first step. Nothing is wrong. Most people are afraid to choose because they think they choose the wrong thing. Well, there's no there's no such thing as choosing a wrong thing in this matter, because you can perfectly work go along with your business as usual. But I think you will not make full extent of the law, so you can choose otherwise.
Yeah.
So that's to them, and that's the first mindset they have to encounter and conquer. Well,
Yeah.
what can go wrong if I do this?
Yeah.
Nothing can go wrong.
That's a very nice approach, because they don't feel pushed, or they
No.
don't feel they have to change, because that's always where the stubbornness comes in place, or the conflict. Yeah, why do I have to change? And
Hmm.
are you
The only thing they
changing?
have
And what are we changing? And
the
how
only
does
thing
it
they have
work?
to do is come to my meeting. That's the only thing they have to do. No, it's joking, but
Yeah, yeah,
no,
yeah.
that's the essence of the thing. Choose,
Yeah.
and you can perfectly choose the way you're working right now. But stop being annoyed if things don't work out, because you choose for that way, but you
Yeah.
can another way,
Yeah.
and maybe that will work better.
And you
For some,
can change your mind, I guess. You
yes,
can,
yes,
or try to do both to get to used to it, not to,
yeah.
see how it works, and then later on go for it because you're kind of hooked. Yeah.
Yes, I think that's the way it worked with me. I was a bit no, no. I was passionate about your course,
Mm-hmm.
but when I went out the first time, I was like, I have to implement this in my kind of work. And
Mm-hmm.
the second time, it was clear to me. So it was like, well, of course you can do this, and of course I can do that. But well, I will maybe be the first, but there has to be somebody else who does it also. So
Mm-hmm.
hopefully it will be like an oil how you call it in English? I don't know, but it has to
Yeah.
gradually expand itself.
Yeah, like this
And
ripple effect that
yes,
becomes. Yeah.
it a wrinkle effect, and I would love to be the stone, but some other people have to, yeah, well, encourage it also. So no,
Yeah.
that's my goal a bit
To get
for the
the early adopters around you, this like
yeah.
collision of people that champion the same thing, although there's no blueprint about how to pull it off, but you know what your vision is, or your
Yes,
mission maybe, and you're open to explore that whole process, how you get there, with a lot of
I would
energy, fun, and empathy, and openness, and engagement.
I would like there's a in this in my kind of work there's a omgevingswet, and that's the legal stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and you have the implementation of the omgevingswet. And that's the I spoke to a person who I in rent, and she was like, well, she was giving me a boot. She was holding off. That's
Mm-hmm.
she was holding off, and I would love to get her to come to your course and well enlighten her,
Yeah, to see how
because
she can make it
yeah,
her own.
yes, because that's the I think you have to change the person, then the group around it, then the organization, and hopefully the environment, well, the environment, and that's the goal of the law. So, well, for me, it's plain sailing. For most people, they're a bit hesitant.
Yeah.
So, well,
So there's some hesitation in your surroundings, and yeah, this could be fear, skepticism, judgments, doing things differently because we know we have to. I mean, it's everywhere. If you Google innovation, change, you get so many hits. So that's
Mhm.
not kind of the magic. We
Oh,
all
you
know
don't
it.
have choice in that. And the other way, the law is coming if you want to or not. So you better get, you know,
Prepared.
prepared. Yes.
Yeah, prepared for the future. Yeah.
Yeah.
So going back to that part where you said, well, I joined the first session and I felt
Hmm.
there was something I had to pull off. How can I apply this host toolkit, human
Hmm.
energy, openness to connect,
Hmm.
sharing added value, resources, knowledge, networks, and skills to transform my own work field? How can I pull it off?
Hmm.
What changed? What made it? When did you come to the point that you felt confident in a way to pull it
Hmm.
off?
Well,
What was your transformation in that sense?
my transformation was you gave me there was a huiswerk, I call it,
A challenge?
a challenge, yes, to prepare yourself for the second session. And I watched the video and I heard this particular tool is very handy for overcoming criticism and skepticism. Well, and there you got it. I have to deal with a lot of criticism and skepticism. So I thought, well, this is my first step. I will implement this particular tool to try to get some people to open up and lose their skepticism.
Mm-hmm.
And from there on, I have to, well, I will come back to you about that, but I have to get some tools to actually change behavior.
Mm-hmm.
But first thing, as I said, is to, well, get the mindset the right way.
Yeah, yeah. So get the foundation before you
Yes,
start working on the symptoms, more or less.
yes, yes,
Because
yes.
skepticism is a symptom. There's something there, they haven't
Hmm.
they haven't tapped into, and once they do, they might change. Yeah. So beautiful. So for you, how would you summarize it? What you gained from the training
Um,
for yourself?
for myself, it's very practical, and it's very powerful. I was amazed, and that is not during the session because I was too much involved in the session. I was like, "Ooh, what's it?" But when I came home, I was like, "Oh!" And as I told you, I use it already unconscious because I will all no there's not a wrong choice. It's your choice, but there's nothing wrong. So
Mm-hmm.
don't be afraid to choose. You can choose, and it's very safe to choose. That's what I learned. Well, in that mindset, I came from. Oh, okay, there's no wrong. Well,
Mm-hmm.
maybe there is, but don't exclude it. And if you evolve it and you come to the conclusion, well, it's not a very handy choice I made over there. Oh, okay, you change it, and no, so that's a mindset I'm into right now.
Mm-hmm.
So think about possibilities. Don't be afraid to leap in, because all the people I talk to are very knowledgeable and they know their stuff. So why are they so avoiding risks? Maybe
Mm-hmm.
they should trust their own instincts and their own judgment and leap into the
Yeah.
good unknown. Maybe.
Yeah. So trust on their intuition a little bit
Yep.
more than holding on to what's written on script or something.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, they have to. I think it's a combination. Of course, you need the ratio,
Mm-hmm. That's
but
true.
they should let intuition more often into the developer making.
Yeah.
They should not have to exclude it all.
Yeah.
That's what's happening now, I think.
Beautiful. And can you give another example what you have integrated in your, well, unconscious and now you become more conscious of it?
Uh,
Uh,
well, well, I look in a different way when people are now are being very skeptical and have a lot of criticism to the law, towards the law, the new law. I would think, well, I should do the left and right brain bump with you, because then you see where it takes you. Maybe you will come to the same conclusion, but maybe not.
Mm-hmm.
So that's well, the practicability of your of the tools amazed me a bit, and the power that's behind it.
Mm-hmm.
Because in only 2 sessions, I'm doing what I'm doing, and it's only small, but I'm convinced that it will work. So I'm also very scared because I have to implement it for the first time still. But next Tuesday is my first chance.
Yeah, you have a session Tuesday.
No, no, no. It's not. It's a really well. I thought it was a really small session, but eventually are coming. I think 25 people, so it's not really small. So
Nice.
the amount of people are makes me a bit hesitant to implement my ideas to do that. But yes, I think I will just do it, and well, who cares?
Yeah, yeah. You will not die for sure.
No, 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 no. I will not die. That's it's true.
And are you going to implement that exercise, colliding
Yeah,
brains? Do you think?
the wiggle. Yeah, I will. I
Yeah.
think I will introduce the wiggle to them. Yes, and
Nice.
I will frame it the way well, I will frame it
Practiced.
the way I practiced. Well, there's a yeah, well, there's a
Nice.
lot of opportunities in it.
Nice. And have you seen some change as you being Eric, person in life, maybe a little bit detached from work? Do you think
Hmm.
there was also a little change there, or?
Um, uh, well, I have to say I feel very well. It's a round. It's a hole. There's sometimes you get in a period of life that's a very it doesn't work and it doesn't roll very good. But
You're not in a flow? Yeah.
no, you're not in the flow, and I got the feeling. I got the feeling. No, well, I'm in a flow right now, so I hope to keep it up. Uh,
Nice.
so I know there will be blocks and bumps on the way, but I hope to no continue this flow.
Nice, beautiful. So, if people have never heard about Host2Transform and this
Hmm?
human-centered innovation process toolkit, for whom do you think it could be a game changer, as they say? Who should really embrace this toolkit? What it could be characteristics of people, but it could also
Hmm.
be maybe a role they have in their work, a profile.
Um, uh, I think it's not that difficult. I work. I speak a lot of local government and people who work there, and they're all aware of the law who's coming, and they're all aware of the cultural change that will bring it with it. So they're already thinking about it. So I think it's perfect market to implementate Host2Transform to.
Okay.
And maybe it's not their toolkit. There are others around, but for some, it will be their toolkit because well, everything Host2Transform has to offer, well, comes back into my kind of work right now. So
Yeah.
I think it's a great opportunity for people who dare to leap into it to get better and to get to profit from it.
To get to better results. And in your
Yes.
case, this would be making the Netherlands even more beautiful in
Yep.
spatial environment.
Well, yeah, more spatial and less stress and less risk avoiding behavior, because that's often the case, and that prevents beautiful projects from being realized.
Yeah.
So I hope
Nice.
that
Yeah.
so that's the thing I want to well talking to you, I think that's the goal I want to achieve.
The essence. No, I like you saying that because I'm doing some research about stress and well depression and
Mm.
burnouts. Not the most enlightening topics, of course, but
Oh.
there is a trend that is still rising. It's still increasing. Unfortunately, people feeling
Hmm.
stressed or burned out, and maybe it's because we measure it more, so we get more results. That
I
is
will.
like yeah,
I think we talked about it during the course. Information. There's a lot of information
yeah,
available to everybody, but who needs all that information?
yeah,
Why don't you trust? Why don't people trust on their gut instincts?
yeah,
I, I'll bet that if you ask them to describe their most successful day or project or whatever, it all comes. Oh, I just did that.
yeah,
I didn't think about it. No, so that's
yeah,
why do they do that at work. So
yeah.
of course, what I said. There's got to be some ratio, and there's got to be framework, and
Yep.
but please build,
Overdo it.
don't overdo it.
Yeah. Yeah. Nice. Okay, great. And so the government, yeah, they're ready for it. And if you could describe the session with like one or two words, what would it be for you? Like, could be anything.
Well, I would make a difference between the first and the second one.
Mm-hmm.
The first one was I was very curious, and I wasn't really sure what to expect. And the second one was very focused and very practical. So it was. I was focused, but I thought the session was more focused also. So
Mm-hmm.
that helped me. But no, I'm just me. Maybe some other people would love the more well the more open approach. But
Mm-hmm.
I liked to do exercises and you did you questioned me a lot. Or you asked me a lot of questions by the debriefing. Thanks for that. So that's the difference. I was curious the first time and surprised about the practicability about the tools.
Yeah.
It's a big
Yeah.
change.
Nice. Do you think it could be kind of the session itself, like you beautifully described the first and second, like a metaphor for maybe even a process you go through with your peers, your colleagues in the field, your
Yeah.
stakeholders? That first it's the experimentation part, and you cannot frame too much because then
No.
it's no longer experiment, then it's
No.
all ratio again. And then the
Yeah.
second part, you can frame it a little bit more and make them self to trust on that as well, that
Yeah.
process. They can take it into their own work practice and give them a really concrete challenge how they can do that, and you can help them with that, the translation itself.
Uh, I think that's beautifully described. The way that's the way it worked for me, and I think a lot of my colleagues who take the first step are very curious in the beginning and very skeptical maybe because what will it bring me and what would I get out of it? But when they can actually see what they are, how they can implement the tools in their own work, maybe in their own life. I think, well, no, I can only speak for myself, but I think they will be fools not to see the possibilities of it.
Nice, beautiful. So, yeah, is there a almost final question? And I'm also a little bit shy about it, but do you think there's a way that distinguishes my style of training from other trainings you joined, or can you not really tell, or is there some
I can't really tell about because I didn't follow any other training in this area.
area yet?
I was always into the legal stuff, not about implementing the legal thing. And and not the least behavior changing. I wasn't like, behavior changing. So this it's a new step for me.
Something new.
Yeah, but so I can't compare. But what I think, and I is that well, the second session for me worked fine, worked perfectly, and I'm very grateful for you to you're creating a very safe environment, and at the same time you're very direct, and well, that's okay. You can and your criticism is always building the confidence of people. Now, well, you saw my you saw my exercise, whatever, and the Host2Transform, the tool I hosted. Well, the briefing was okay, and practice was also okay, and the debriefing, well, let's be honest, it was shitty because
That were not my words, by the way.
no, because
That's
that's
your
what I
own
learned.
criticism talking.
Well, it's well, what you really learned me is to go deeper because and not be satisfied with the first answer you get.
Yep.
What do you mean? Why do you do what you do? You can easily ask that 3 or 4 times, and then you get to the real thing.
To the
And
core. Yeah.
I'm more inclined to ask it once, maybe twice, and then I think, okay, it's okay.
Yeah.
But I didn't really get to the essence of it, and I'm really sorry. Yeah.
So you have to. No, I'm sorry, I was interrupting
No,
you.
no.
But I was just triggered that you actually have to go through your own uncomfortable sensation to ask this question again. Because
Yes.
I think you already feel that you demand quite something of them, and then you have to ask them again, and it might
Yes.
feel for
Very
you that
uncomfortable for me.
Yeah, yeah,
It's not like me. Then that's partly with me and partly the way I hope that people act toward me. If I ask something twice, I hope they feel safe enough with me to really open up.
yeah,
But don't do that, and well, you have to ask
yeah, yeah.
3 or 4 times.
Yeah. So there's really this practice that you preach kind of, it's cliche, but it's so true. If you
Yep.
don't show your own vulnerabilities and you're really there to understand them, because it's not asking the questions because we know this is kind of a funnel or a script. It's not a script at all. But it's really that you're trying to understand them before you write down and start to harvest. And sometimes people do not really understand themselves. So you actually help them to become really, specific. And you saw that with one of the participants of your session, that you actually helped him to go beyond the logic of, I always want things to speed up and I'm a little bit impatient, but I love it. And later on, he came
I
to...
love it. Yeah, he asked himself the question, and that's the stage I wanted to bring people in.
Yeah.
Ask himself the question, why do I do this? And
Yeah.
second time, feel safe enough to talk about it because, well, no, that's that's the compliment I'm making you. You're very good at creating a safe environment so people can talk about the things they are in deeper layers.
Yeah. Nice.
So good
Thanks.
for you.
Thanks. Thank you so much. So, thanks for this elaborated dialogue, talk, whatever you want to call it, interview. Is there anything you would love to share or add, or something that I forgot to mention or we didn't touch upon, a topic, or could be anything?
No, I think
Full confidence to continue leaping into the next steps.
And if you broadcast it worldwide, people make use of this tool because it's will really help you. That's my full confidence. I'm really scared about it because I didn't implement it as yet, but I'm really going to, and I think.
And you have a support team around you.
Yeah,
right?
and it will be a success.
Nice. Well, thank you so much, Eric, for your time. And we keep in touch. And yeah, again, don't forget about the support team around you, the other
Hmm.
Host2Transform practitioners. Well, you're
I got one
lucky
at home,
because
eh?
your own wife is
Yeah,
one, so you can talk about it
yeah,
24/7. And
yeah.
of course, I'm here and the people I work with all the beautiful insights and connections. So, yeah, dare to ask for help in that sense. Huh? That's also
Okay.
part of the whole idea of Host to Transform. People are often afraid to ask for help, but there's abundance of resources, knowledge, networks, and skills, and maybe something that takes 10 minutes of my life will
Hmm.
help you taking accelerating your whole process for 5 months with 5 months. So yeah, don't be shy to ask. Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, thank you so much and have a great day.
You too.
You.